Greetings and welcome to another Warhammer 40,000 Kill Team video, where today I'm going over the July tournament stats for Kill Team. But before we get into things, please remember to like and subscribe as well as comment. Let me know what you thought of today's video. Did you like it or not? And remember, I've got a Discord you can check out for free in the episode description below, as well as an affiliate link at Element Games and a Patreon if you want to give me some more support. But yeah, thanks goes to Hot Sauce Teddy. Once again, without him, none of this would be possible. And then, with the usual caveats, it's all BCP related. So if you're not on BCP, message us, but we only take results from BCP. And another thing is we are effectively in a community ban, in my opinion, from what we will see. So like basically players are globally refusing to use Chaos Cults, Felgors and Inquisition. And then also, we've had a lot of horrible open boards that basically provide no cover in the drop zones and allow alpha strikes. So shooting into drop zones, turning point one, or just other alpha strikes, but we'll see. So let's get into the data. So for July, we have Chaos Cults up at 5.3% meta usage, which is good at 63%. Blooded, 2.5%, which is okay at 61%. Commandos jumping up to 8.8% with 60%, which is really good. Gallowpox only at 1.7% meta usage, but holding on at around 59%. Then we have Warp Coven, who have jumped up a bit with 59%. Hand of the Archon doing pretty well at 57%, with a decent usage. Wormblade with a quite low usage. It's around like 30 games with a 56% win rate. So it's good, but low usage. And then we have Inquisition, who have dropped down a bit to 55% from 60% last month with slightly more games. Well, actually slightly less, but you'll see. Kazakin are doing really well this month at 54% overall. And then we have Void Dancer Troop, Phobos, and Star Striders at 50%. Felgor's Ravagers has dropped down to 49%, but have gone up in popularity. Halfkin Salvagers are doing much better at 48%, along with Legionary and Exaction Squad, which is just crazy to see, as well as with Corsairs and Pathfinders, who have had, like, Exaction Squad and Pathfinders. This is their best result in about 5 months. Or for Exaction Squad since they came out. So kind of good to see. And Intercession, with the most popular usage at 10% of the meta, have dropped down to 47%. And then at 44% we have Vet Guard and Novitiates, but because of how we will do draws, they're probably at 45%. But below that we have Navy Breaches, Hierotech Circle, Kroot and Hunterclade all at basically 40%, which is quite bad. Then for GT Plus results, we have Pathfinders at the top. I have no idea what's happened this month. And then we have, but it's only like 1%, so not that popular. Chaos Cults are actually more popular at larger events with a 65% win rate, where they're doing much better. Warp Coven at 63%, but a low usage. Commandos at the same and doing slightly better at longer and larger events. Gallowpox actually doing better. So Gallowpox are doing a weird thing along with Void Dancer Troop in general, where they're still winning quite well, but their usage is not great, but they're still winning lots or topping lots of events. Wormblade, once again, 1%, but 56%. Star Strider's doing much better. 56% as well. Well, 55%, sorry. Oh no, 57%. GT Plus results. Kazakin doing really well. Exaction Squad, nearly at 55%. They're loving it. Blooded Traitors doing well. Halfkin Salvagers at 53%. I don't know. You tell me. Phobos Strike Team and Inquisition also at 51%. And then we have Corsairs and Hierotech Circle, Novitiates and Void Dancer Troop and Legionary, all above, 45% or above. Intercession actually doing really bad while getting more popular at larger events. And the same with Legionary, doing better than last month, but still only borderline. And then we have Hand of the Archon and Fastalker Kinband and Hunterclade, and then Navy Breaches, who all do below 44%, which is really strange when you look at the change between overall and GT Plus, especially for Hand of the Archon. So they're clearly not liking larger events. For the player bit, for the number of games, once again, we're still unfortunately missing tournament topping data. We're still trying to get that back. Once again, Chaos Cults, they've gone up from 125 players to 148. Commandos are at this rate, I think they'll overtake Intercession, maybe by 1 to 2 months. But they're doing really well. It's actually quite damaging to see them with such a high win rate and the usage rate. That's kind of quite bad to see. Gallowpox have gone down a bit to basically 50 players. Hand of the Archon have actually lost a lot of players. They were actually around 150, but they've dropped around to 80. But remember, we're looking at least 80 players now for a good, reliable win rate, because the meta is quite large, but we're getting more and more teams, so the spread of factions is getting, and players is getting wider. And then if we look, Veteran Guardsmen still doing pretty well. Intercession actually had around 300 players last month, so they've actually dropped a bit. Legionary are doing a little bit better. Felgors are actually more popular as well than last month. Inquisition are a little less. They actually had around 100 players, so they've semi-stayed the same. But as you can see, we've got a persistent trend of around 2,400 bespoke games with around 200 compendium games. And I think that's basically going to be static now until like compendium entirely gets removed in like the next edition or whatever. Now we've got the matchup matrix. So after I showed like the faction data last month, Hot Sauce Teddy was able to sort this out after people requested. So thanks again, once again, to Teddy. But basically this is just for July. You can look at all the combined months, but then it gets really weird. We're trying to just show only the current balance data slate. You can argue for June, but I'm going to show it month by month. I'll only do combined months once we get to like quarterly reviews. But if we look at Chaos Cults, they are only underperforming against Blooded Traitors. They didn't play Hand of the Archon or Halfkin this month. 50% against Hunterclade and 44% against Commandos. So the interesting thing with Commandos have a 50% win rate against Chaos Cults. So it looks like Chaos Cults are getting more losses and like maybe one or two more draws. Well, more draws and then maybe one or two more losses versus Commandos, but Commandos are just getting even wins and losses. Whereas, but if you look, Chaos Cults are just dominating the meta. They're only bad. They only have like 4 bad matchups. Like oddly, Pathfinders are their worst, and Void Dancer troops. So maybe Pathfinders are the hero we need, not that we deserve. But if you look at Commandos, they have a similar situation. They actually have more 50% win rates matchups. Like they're actually not doing too well into Wormblade. But overall, they have much spikier matchups. But if you look at Chaos Cults have more matchups that are like 80 to 100%, which is not very healthy. And then if you look at stuff like Inquisitorial Agents, they're doing okay against most elite teams, but against Intercession, they have an 83% win rate, which is not that healthy, right? But if you want, you can look at this in more of your own time. I can't go through it all because, once again, there's a lot of factions to go through, but hopefully this gives you a better picture of how kill teams are performing against each other month by month. Then we have the global metadata, and unfortunately for July, we have one of our first months where we have both a downtake in number of players and events. So it does mirror July from last year, but July from last year had more GT Plus events, and even though it had less players, it had more GT Plus players, so we had more players and larger events. So, you know, maybe it's due to the summer holidays, but I definitely think it's a contributory factor due to the current meta. I've had a lot of players message me from around the world who basically don't want to play at the moment, and summer is giving them a perfect excuse just to not play. So I think this is probably only going to get worse as time goes on, especially if this current meta remains. But hopefully I'm wrong. I'd rather much be wrong than maybe it's just summer holidays, but we'll see. And then once again, we have the sacred win rate graph. Green is good. Orange is, maybe you need a nerf. And above or below is like, it's not good, right? So in the not good territory, we have Chaos Cults shining down on everyone with their radiant corrupted light. Commandos doing really well, catching up to Inquisition and Intercession in terms of usage, but also doing a really high win rate overall. Once again, Blooded and like Wormblade aren't really accurate results up top. And then we have Hunterclade down below, also with Imperial Navy breaches, which is depressing to see. But once again, we're in a really depressing and confusing meta. So yeah. So for the July stats overview, not really a good month, no matter how you can spin it. What, we have like 7 factions above 57%, well, 55%, and only like 2 of those factions are actually have a really high win rate to make it a credible data set. We don't really have tournament data still for like winning, but I know lots of those factions have won a lot. Like the interesting thing we're seeing, there is definitely a community ban. Right, so I've looked over events week by week, and even though Chaos Cults, Felgors, and Inquisition have decent usage, there are lots of events we just don't see them at all. And when I looked at even like the last prior week of events, there was like hardly any Chaos Cults, Felgors, or Inquisition. So there's definitely some kind of community ban going into effect. And the fact that there is really worrying considering the current stats. Because, you know, there's a lot of players refusing to use Chaos Cults at the moment, especially unless it's a super big event. But even at Tacoma, we only had 3 Chaos Cults, and apparently 2 of those are brand new players. And then the second day had issues. Like, there's just weird things going on. And yeah, if there is a community ban and these kill teams are performing this good already, can you imagine what it'd be like if there was no community ban and everyone was just using them constantly? We would probably have a mirror as to what last month's stats was, right? And then commandos unfortunately look like a big problem. I do think it's partly because they can take you know, the bomb squig and the grot, but it's also because of the board design. Once again, I've seen it in several events, especially large majors, you know, where there are horrible open boards. So I think people misconstrue when I say we need safe drop zones, because I think people think safe drop zones is you can't shoot into them at all. A safe drop zone for me is a drop zone that can keep 10 or less operatives safe, right? You know, if you have 11, some people say 11, but if you have 11, you can just invest in recon dash to get to safety. There are lots of kill team boards that have, like, it's hard for elite teams to deploy safely. There's almost no cover in the drop zones. The way to fix the game is not to turn it into Warhammer 40,000 where everything dies turn 1 and you're encouraging alpha strikes. Obviously, commandos are going to do amazing in this meta where you allow them to easily, like, dynamite everyone turning point 1 and, like, deploy the rocket boy onto vantage points and stuff. Like, when you can just see, like, people in drop zones and just kill them, obviously alpha strike teams are going to do much better. And it's not really a way to fix the meta by going, oh, we've got melee teams, like, dominating the game. Let's just make sure everyone dies turn 1 to shooting. That's great. So really worried to see that going forward as a trend. But it's just like, I'm more worried at people just dropping off from events. I've known, as I said, when I covered the metadata, there are lots of people just refusing to play now. Like, there are people who are, like, feel resigned in the fact that they have invested in tournaments from a pretty stable meta going into this horrible quarter. And there are people who are now just refunding tickets, right? I think we'll see it more when it comes to August and definitely September. But going off of this current data, especially with what feels like a community ban going into place, I can't see an emergency nerf happening at the moment. Like I think Games Workshop will probably just wait till the end of September to drop the next balance data slate. So, yay, you know, this isn't a fun meta to play in, because even if you don't run into Chaos Cults, Felgors, or Inquisition, now you have to worry about really dangerously unsafe drop zones that allow alpha strikes with commandos and other kill teams. And even if you don't run into those top 3 kill teams, you have to factor in that you will play them. So it kind of dictates what you can play. So, you know, we'll see. I don't know. We have a really bizarre month. Like, that's why Pathfinders have been doing so well in their low usage. But obviously they love these kind of alpha strike boards. So I guess what TOs are saying is they want people to play Pathfinders again. So maybe this is the time, Pathfinder players. Now we can save the meta. But we'll see, right? But yeah, please remember to like and subscribe as well as comment. And, you know, thanks Hot Sauce Teddy. Without him, none of this would be possible. I'll have an article version of this sometime, either today or tomorrow, in the episode description below. And remember, I've got a Discord you can check out in the episode description below for free. A Patreon if you want to give me some more support, and an affiliate link at Element Games. But I'll quickly shout out my patrons. So for my adepts of the crit, I have Sam, Nick, Mr. Meatwad, John Thomas, Dad of Goldens, Ben, and then for my veterans of the crit, I have Samja. So thank you so much for all your support. It really means a lot to me and helps support the channel. But yeah, that's pretty much it from me today. I have no hope for what's going forward with the current meta. It's just, it's not great to play in. And yeah, like the stats are just all over the place. But yeah, it's really hard to like say what needs balanced and like, you know, buffs and nerfs when we are in a horrible meta at the moment. And it's really hard to actually do any changes until Chaos Cults, Inquisition, and Felgor Ravagers are nerfed. So, you know, it's just all over the place. Like, this is the worst thing. To actually see a stable meta, you're going to have to wait for those kill teams to be nerfed. Then wait 3 months and then go, okay, now we'll fix all that. Because there's problems we had before, which are now just going to go unseen. But, you know, I really hope people just keep playing and find a fun way to enjoy the game. But we'll see. Remember, you know, there's always hope as long as you can roll a crit.